Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to this week's beer review. I am the Mighty Plantain, and we are doing a beer from Dogfish Head. This is their Immort Ale. It's made with maple syrup and peat-smoked barley. Where have I heard about peat-smoked barley before? Oh yeah, whiskey, to those of you in Scotland. Scotch whiskey, or just plain Scotch to those of us in the US. So this promises to be interesting, especially since they aged it over some oak. 11% alcohol by volume. It's going to be nice and strong, but I'm really looking forward to that maple syrup and the peat-smoked barley. You know, there's one thing about Scotch whiskey that really changes the character of the brew and makes it stand out, is that peat-smoked barley. Depending on where the peat was harvested, it's got a different characteristic, and that's why I prefer the Islay malts over the Highlands malts, and so on and so forth. Very subtle characteristics of the air and soil and the general region that peat was harvested from, that's used to smoke the barley. It just gives different characteristics to the different Scotch whiskies. So I'm wondering exactly where the peat that was used to smoke the barley for this ale came from, because that's going to change the character of the beer. I assume they keep it from the same region so that they don't change the character of this beer every time they brew it, but I could be wrong. I haven't done that much research, and you know what? Dogfish Head is the kind of brewery that doesn't mind having their beer taste different with every batch, because true beer aficionados recognize that every year the beer may taste a little different. Look at their 120-minute IPA, for an example. It's a delicious beer, it's awesome, but every year there are subtle differences. Alright, so enough about that. Hit me up down on that link below there. You can see the little button. If you click on the subscribe button there, you'll be redirected to my main page where you can subscribe to my YouTube feed. You'll get a notification every time I post a new beer review, a new liquor review, or just some random, ridiculous dumbassery that hopefully you're getting some entertainment value out of, if not some educational value. Enough about that. Let's get this beer poured out. I'll tell you what I think about it. While I'm pouring this out, don't forget to hit me up down below with a like and a share, as well as that subscribe button. I need all the attention I can get, because that's what I thrive on. Now, it's funny that this is made with maple, because when I look at this color, it reminds me of a nice maple syrup. And I don't mean Aunt Jemima, Log Cabin, or any other store-bought crap. I'm talking about an actual maple syrup. This color is very reminiscent of that. Anybody who lives in the New England area will tell you that a true maple syrup, they don't boil it down and add the high fructose corn syrup and make that thick crap. It's very runny, it's kind of watery. As far as the rest of the nation is concerned, to us it's just normal. But this color is what it reminds me of. It's a very brown, mapley dark color, so I'm wondering just how sweet this beer is going to be, because it makes me think of sweet stuff. And the aroma is just further enhancing that. Again, for those of you who have actually collected sap from tapped trees in the New England area, it's got this kind of slightly sweet spring water aroma to it. And pure spring water is something that only those of you who have been around it flowing will recognize the aroma of. Spring water has a very unique smell. And that's what I'm getting off of this. And there's other flavor characteristics described on the bottle that I would expect to get in the aroma, but what I'm primarily picking up on is that fresh spring water, and that slightly sweet, fresh maple sap aroma. Nothing else that I would expect to be stronger is overpowering that. And it just smells very, very fresh and mapley. That is an interesting taste. There's a particular taste that you get from a high alcohol by volume beer, and this one's at 11%. And it's odd. I get hit up front with that high ABV taste. It's a slightly sour taste that you would recognize right off if you've had an imperial beer or anything else with a probably an 8% or higher ABV. It's a very unique, distinctive taste that I can't really put into any category other than a high alcohol content beer taste. It hits you up front, but it's very subtle up front, but it's the only thing you taste. Then it fades. After that high ABV taste fades, you get that sweetness, that mapley sweetness, and then a very, very strong taste of Scotch whiskey. And that's got to come from the peat that's included in there, the peat roasted barley. Apparently my palate is not sophisticated enough to narrow it down to any specific region, but if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that this particular bottle, which was produced in, 2015? Maybe this year, 2016. Most likely in 2015, though, because I just picked it up a couple of months ago. If I had to try and hazard a guess, and this is based purely on speculation and not the fact that I'm actually really that great, I would guess that the peat was a Highlands peat, because the taste that I'm getting in the middle there, after the high ABV sourness hits me, and then there's that mapley sweetness, I'm getting a bit of a Highlands malt Scotch whiskey taste to it. The Highlands malts tend to be a little harsher for me than the Islay malts that I prefer, because they have that mellowed down sea air taste. The Highlands malts are that harsher, in your face taste. Again, this is purely speculation. I'm probably just running off of the mouth at this point, but that's what I'm getting that up front, that mapley sweetness, then the high ABV, high alcohol content sourness, followed by a mellowing sweetness. Then I'm getting that harsh, reminiscent of a Highlands malt Scotch whiskey flavor, and then it kind of follows up with that fresh spring water taste in the end. But in the aftertaste, I'm getting hit again even harder with that high alcohol by volume sourness. So overall, a very, very complex flavor that evolves as you taste it. So I'm very impressed by this, and because of that complexity and the way it evolves, and the fact that it's a unique experience, this is actually giving me a bit of a wow factor. There's that buzzword again that I really hate, wow factor, because I think it's overused, but it's unique and different enough that I am gonna say wow, and I really like this. I'm hitting this with a 5 out of 5. So, you know, Dogfish Head has a lot of winners for me. A lot of 5 out of 5s, and this is another one that falls into that category. It's a very delicious beer. But hey, that's just my opinion. Try it out for yourself. Hit me up in the comments and the email link down below. Let me know if you agree or disagree, what your thoughts are. I'm eager to hear them. Hit me up with a like and a share while you're at it. Like I said, love the exposure because I'm an attention whore and I'll take it any way I can get it. Till next time, folks, hope you enjoyed the video and cheers. A little while back, we did a bit of a comparison with the Not Your Father's Hard Root Beer review.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for the beer, man. So, highly recommended by you. The Extreme Beer Fest this weekend. We'll be able to get a hold of, I believe it's the American